all right. I'll do a setup video. I'll do it. What's up, guys? It's Pinky. Welcome back to the channel. Want to thank everybody for tuning back in on this fabulous, what we're going to call it. It's going to be either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So for this one, it is going to be a little bit of a different style video from what we normally do. We're not going to be playing Fortnite. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? We're not playing Fortnite today. We're taking a break from becoming the ultimate sweat. But it's going to be a different style video. What we're doing today, we're kind of wrapping up the end of the year. We're in mid-November right now. I was going to save this video till December. But then I thought about it. There's not a ton of big updates going on in Fortnite right now. There is stuff that I still could do videos on. But also stuff with my setup's really not going to be changing in the next month. So figured I'd put this video out for you guys now. For anybody that's curious of the stuff that I use, we're going to review things like my monitors that I use, which would be the screens, if you aren't super techie, the screens that display everything. We'll go over my PC, just general, my overall setup. I'll list things. Some of it is stuff that I've got. This is all stuff that I've accrued within the last 5 to 6 years. Some of it's more recently bought. Some of it I've had for years now. So if I can find the links, I'll put the links in the description down below so you guys can go check it out. Some of this stuff is older stuff that I will be upgrading. Some of the stuff is stuff that I'm going to continue to use for a while. But regardless, I'll link it in the description if I can find it for you guys. That way you guys can go take a look if you're interested in using it. I've never done a video like this, so if it's a little crappy quality as far as like camera angles and things like that, I really do apologize. Bear with me. It's my first time. Maybe next year's setup video will be spooktacular, spectacular. But this is my first time doing this, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're going to go over everything that I use down to my keyboard, mouse, even the mouse pad, things like that. I know there's some better things out there on the market. Some of it's for aesthetics. As a streamer or gamer, some things you get for aesthetically pleasing aspects of things, and then there's other things that you get for your actual professional content creation itself. For if you're, a competitive gamer, you get some of the stuff for your competitive edge. But a lot of times when it comes to aesthetics, you kind of have to weigh out your options, because especially for me and my aesthetic being mostly pink stuff, if I can, I'll go for a pink and white look on things. But it's very hard to find things that are like actual professional grade that are pink. So some stuff I can't get in pink, and some stuff for the aesthetically pleasing eye, for you guys, for the viewers, I take a dive on it. I'd take a dip. Like my mouse pad, for instance, I haven't really researched more to see if there's better mouse pads in pink. But right now I'm using one that's like a $20 mouse pad or something like that. It's got RGB on it, so that's pretty cool. That's actually pleasing to my eye. I like the RGB. I like lights. But I took a dip on that. I know there's better mouse pads on there that I can move my mouse quicker with and things like that. But I wanted a pink mouse pad for you guys when you see the mouse pad and stuff. And even for when I look at it, aesthetically, it's just pleasing for me to look down and see so much pink on my desk. So we're going to hop into this one. We're going to go over things that I use. This is going to be kind of 2024's wrap up of Pinky's gaming setup. All right, let's get into this. Okay guys, so firstly we're gonna get into my desk and my chair. My chair is a little worn, it's been used. So the desk is an L-shaped desk. It is the Techni Sport Warrior L-shaped desk. And again, I'll try to link what I can in the description down below. But yeah, so I really wanted an L-shaped desk just because, as you see, I got my monitors there, got my keyboard and stuff there that I use. So that's kind of like my workstation area. It would be right there. And then over on this side, right now there's consoles there. I might be moving those soon. Might be. Sorry if my eyes are a little messed up. I don't really do vlog style stuff normally. But yeah, so Consoles are there right now, and then I have like my notebooks and stuff for planning things out, for budgeting, all that stuff. I am in the midst of building a high-end PC. So where the consoles are at right now, we're going to be putting a PC there. So I might be moving the consoles over to the workstation area. I got some other stuff. I have a lot of stuff planned for this setup. So things will be changing, but nothing's really drastically changing the rest of this year, which is why I'm making this video now. L-shaped desk, Technisport Warrior. I'll try to link that down in the description. I did find it on my phone. Luckily, a lot of this stuff I actually saved on my phone throughout the years, just in case I want to go look back at it, if I needed spare parts for anything. So that's something I do recommend. If you guys are planning on, if you're planning on buying something, and you may need spare parts, you may need to repair something, anything like that, always save your links, always save what you first started with. That way you can go back, you can look at it, or even if you want to reorder it, if you want to recommend it to somebody, you always have that link there so that you can go back and see it again. You don't have to go through a whole internet hunt and search. You can go find it right away at the click of a button. So I do have the link for the desk. I will get that for you guys and put that one in the description. Moving on to my gaming chair. So for my gaming chair here, we have the Secret Lab. This is the 2020 edition. They redid it, so mine's a pillow with a strap on it. Now it's a magnetic pillow that goes on the headrest itself for the 2024 editions, but mine's the 2020 edition. I believe 2020 is when I got it, 2020 or 2021, something like that. But yeah, it's the Pink Diva edition, Secret Lab's Titan edition. I'm not sure if they still call them all the Titan or if they're all just the same size now. They used to have smaller ones that was called the Omega for shorter people, but I was big at the time, so I needed one that could support my weight. So the chair itself, pretty cool. It's the Pink Diva edition. If you played Overwatch, then you recognize Diva. At the time, it was the only pink Secret Labs chair. There are other gaming chairs out there. What I would recommend for a gaming chair, find something that suits your needs. You don't got to get the top of the line one. This, if you search best gaming chair, is listed as one of the, if not the most revered top of the line gaming chair. I personally enjoy it. It has a lot of features that I enjoy. It is expensive. A lot of these things we'll go over is either mid-range pricing to the more high-end expensive pricing. It's things that I've accrued over the years. It's not, I didn't just take, $20,000-$30,000 and just ball out. But I did spend a lot of money over the years trying to build this, trying to build my little gaming empire. But it was the only pink chair that was out at the time from Secret Labs. They do, imagine this, they do now have just a pink chair non-Diva edition, which that's okay. I did play a lot of Overwatch back in the day, so if you're interested in that, let me know. I'll get back into Overwatch. A lot of the games right now, I do want to mention too, I don't play a lot of anything besides Fortnite because the laptop that I use doesn't have very much space. So there's really not much more room for anything besides Fortnite, my video stuff that I do, and then Minecraft. But once I get my big PC up and running and built, we will be playing more games. We'll be branching out more, and maybe I can get into Overwatch again. So for the chair, it has things like, let's see, I'm gonna totally screw up my stuff, but it has adjustable armrests, go up and down, press another button, they go in and out. Right here is an adjustable lumbar support. So you turn this dial. I think I have mine all the way out right now. Anyways, you turn this here dial. Yep, it is out. So I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but the more I turn that right in the middle, right here, moves in or out, which is for your back support. If the camera would focus, you see that? You can kind of see it moving. That's a lumbar support. Right here, we have a little lever to make the chair recline. If I bust my right now, y'all better not laugh at me. I don't recline this chair at all, but it does have a little lever. It has a little lever. And you can recline. The chair fully moves back. I think it goes back further. We're not going to test it because I'm not falling out of this chair right now. But, oh, yep, it goes back further. Like I said, I wasn't going to test it, and then we tested it. So yeah, the chair, like, fully reclines. So I guess if you're like trying to take a nap while editing or something, or I don't know what you're doing recline all the way back this far. But yeah, it reclines. Yeah, and then if you just lean forward, pull the lever up, it'll auto come back up, kind of like a car seat. But yeah, that's kind of also another thing that you can adjust depending on your liking of how you like to sit. If you want to be leaned back a little further, or if you want to be straightened out more, then you have that option with the little lever you pull, and you either go back or forwards. So with the chair, basically you have the features of moving armrests. They move up and down. They move in and out, I guess you would call it. There's another feature I forgot. Along with moving in and out, these move back and forth. So you can have that however you want it. But yeah, so the armrests themselves move absolutely just every which direction that you want. The only thing they don't do, I think it's called 5D. There's only one chair I've seen. I don't remember what chair it was, but the armrest itself has like a little pivot in it. Like right here in the armrest, it moves upwards for like wrist control and stuff. It's a pretty cool feature that I saw on this one chair. I haven't seen that on any other chair yet, so I don't know about that whole 5D thing, but I think it's called 4D for what I have. They move, the whole arm itself moves up and down for your height, however you want to rest your arms. It moves in and out towards your waist, and then forward and backwards, just to accommodate for however you like to sit, to make yourself more comfortable. Now, me being a now newly PC gamer as of this year, a lot of times I don't really quite use the armrest. Now, if you are a console gamer and you're using controller, I will tell you from years of console gameplay, it is very comfortable. It's very nice to be able to adjust your armrests to exactly how you want them. It is also helpful to have that support for the elbows, for your forearms. When you're in long gaming sessions, if you're playing a single player game, it's nice to have that support, kind of form fit yourself into the chair. That way your arms aren't getting tired or strained. If you're playing a competitive game, it's nice to be able to adjust the armrests to exactly how you want them. That way you can grip the controller exactly how you like. Your arms aren't strained. You aren't using tons of arm muscle to try to hold up that controller. You're able to get the best experience and have almost kind of a competitive edge, because your arms are in the best placement that you need them to be, while holding the controller and getting done what you need to get done during that competitive gameplay, whether it's a hot game, a Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever you're playing. Your arms aren't strained. You aren't sitting there just holding up your arms the whole time. You're able to kind of relax while not relaxing, if that makes sense. Another thing that I do want to mention about this chair that is super nice, if you saw my armrests, I've owned the chair since like 2020, 2021. So almost 5 years old, the whole chair itself. Armrests are pretty beat up from constantly leaning on them. For those of you who might be new to the channel or haven't known me the whole time that I started the channel, or you haven't seen my older videos, I did used to be overweight. I was almost 400 pounds, and so that's why I got this chair instead of the Omega, because I needed it to support my weight as well. I'm not tall. I'm 5'4", so this chair, I mean, it still works for me. It works for me just fine. The Omega would have been a little bit nicer as far as sitting depth. I don't know if that's what you call it. My feet reach the ground just fine, but a slightly shorter chair would have been nice for somebody of my stature. But because I was so big, the smaller chairs did not support my weight very well. Or at least their recommended weight limits. It probably would have supported me fine, but I didn't want to shoot that shot. So I got the heftier chair that would support limits up to, I think it was 500 or 600 pounds. This chair, very nice. But things like the armrests, I don't know if there's other options. I haven't looked into it because I don't need it. The wheels work still fine. The base is just fine. But the armrests are very worn after almost 5 years. The nice thing is you can go on the website and you can order replacement parts for the chairs. So that's really nice. You don't have to go out and spend $600 on a whole new chair. Yes. First off, shout out to my mom and stepdad. They gifted this chair to me for my 20th or 21st birthday. Shout out to them. They help support the channel a lot in many ways, whether it's sharing the content, whether it's leaving likes on my videos, word of mouth telling people about my content. They really help support the channel. They do also buy things here and there to help me out. They gifted me this chair. This is a $600 to $650 chair. When I tell you some of my stuff is high end, it's not cheap. It's not. You can go with cheaper options. There are budget options. You don't have to get the top of the line stuff. But me being me, a lot of the times I have to have the top of the line stuff. I like to, I don't know if you call future proof it, but yeah, I like to have the top of the line stuff. And this chair was one of those things. And I says, hey, I'm thinking about getting this chair, but I don't know when I'm gonna be able to afford it. At the time, I was using a half busted, like black little, I don't know if you call it office chair. I was using an old chair, and they surprised me with this. I came home like right before my birthday, and I had this sitting in my room. So shout out to them. I really appreciate it. This is a very expensive chair, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so next thing we're gonna go over, it is the PC that I use, which I say PC, it's a computer technically, but it is a gaming laptop. I don't remember what year it came out in. I think it was like 2018's, one of 2018's like best gaming laptops, something like that. I think I got this like right before I got my desk and all of that stuff. So I think it was like 2020, either 2020 or 2021. But yeah, we're gonna go over the laptop itself. We'll also cover my my gaming monitors that I use as well. I do highly recommend the gaming monitors for mid-tier monitors. We'll be eventually upgrading those to high-end monitors. High-end monitors are expensive though. Not to say that these were not expensive, but when we're going over things, there's budget-friendly, mid-tier, and high-end. Mine are currently mid-tier monitors, but yeah, let's get into the PC itself that I'm currently running and my monitors. So it's a little dusty, bear with me here, but we have the PC itself, and we'll go over the specs. So the PC itself is going to be the MSI GL63 9SDK. Not the one on the right, the one on the left. But yeah, so it is from, like I said, 2018 or 2019. It's a little dated, but there's kind of the specs. That's what it came with. So everything on the left is going to be the specs for mine. So yeah, the MSI GL63, what was it, 9SDK. That is the current laptop that I'm running. Sits right under my two monitors. It's still a decent laptop. In 2024, it's decent. I haven't ran other games on it, so I'm not sure. Now with PC, I'm not huge into PC gaming yet, so I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but from the games that I've ran so far, it does a predetermined, like, these are the settings that you should use for this game that are optimized for your specs and your PC. I think most PCs do that. It kind of does a predetermined, this is what will run fine on your PC. When I first booted up Fortnite, it loaded most stuff in the higher settings. Now I didn't get the highest FPS on that. I think I was getting, now here's the problem. FPS both goes off of your internet connection and your specs for your PC. So I'm not sure what I could actually be running, because if you don't know, I live out on a farm right now. All we get is satellite internet. So it's kind of spotty. If it's like heavy winds out, it can make our internet run super slow or just completely shut off. FPS is kind of a hard thing to gauge. Exactly what I could be getting, but I do. So on the higher settings, I was ranging like 60 to 80 FPS on all high settings, which I wouldn't say is bad for a laptop that came out in like 2018, 2019. I do run lower settings and run performance mode. While running that, if my internet's running good, I range anywhere from 150 to 200 FPS. I average about 150, 170 FPS on a good internet day. So it's not bad. That's on, I think most of the settings are on like medium. I have the render distance stuff still on like far. And then I'm running like the lower graphical performance mode just to get the most FPS that I can. And it runs pretty well. It does the job. I definitely am looking to upgrade, and that's why I'm currently in the midst of building a high-end PC, which will be a desktop. Now, here's what I'd recommend as far as your computer goes. The reason that I went with a laptop right off the rip instead of just building a desktop is because a lot of times I'm on the go and I needed something that I could bring with me. So if I was at somebody else's house or something and I needed to be able to still edit my videos or do a quick gameplay session, then I had the laptop with me. And that's why I chose a laptop first. If you're gonna be home a lot more and you know you're gonna be able to sit at the desk and game and record your sessions, and you're not gonna be on the go all the time, and depending on what your budget is, then yes, I would recommend getting a desktop over that. You can build a budget desktop, you can build a mid-tier desktop, you can build a high-end desktop, whatever you want to do, the choice is yours. You can also get pre-built desktops where they build it for you. You just order it. It works almost like a console. Basically, you get it out of the box, set it up in a couple of minutes, and boom, you're ready to go. You do the pre-built option, or if you're like me and you want aesthetics and high-end parts, then order the stuff in the mail, watch some YouTube videos, use Google. Google is your best friend. Google and YouTube. Any tech person will tell you. If you don't know, sorry, I'm gonna probably go off on a lot of tangents during this video. If you don't know, before my current job, I'm currently a stalker, a grocery store stalker. I make decent money doing that. I appreciate it. It supports my my little lifestyle. But before, if you don't know, I was a computer technician. It was entry level, but nonetheless, I was a computer technician. I was in charge of making sure that the company's network stayed up and running. There was people that I could call and lean upon if there was stuff that I didn't know. I was basically learning on the job for stuff that I didn't know. And every single time something went wrong and I didn't know the answer, literally I would message them or call them. They'd be like, "Did you Google it? Did you look it up on YouTube?" Those are the first questions. Now, if I did that, and I still couldn't find it, then I'd get the help that I needed. But YouTube and Google is literally your best friend. I literally learned how to build this company's computers, and it sounded scary to them, to people that didn't know. Now, all the tech guys, they were cool about it. They were like, yeah, you did exactly what you needed to do. You did what I would have done. But like when I would walk out and they'd be like, "Hey, we're kind of interested. Like, how did you learn how to do this?" I literally open up my phone and be like, "I watched this video." They'd be like, wait. And I would put the PC back out there, and it would work, and it would run just fine. But they would stare at me funny. They'd be like, "You watched a 5-minute YouTube video and put together this entire computer?" Yes, I did. That's exactly how I did it. It's a lot of trial and error, but as a tech person, YouTube, Google, your best friends. I learned how to build entire office stations just by watching YouTube videos. I learned how to repair their power supplies, how to repair and troubleshoot RAM issues. Learned all about their motherboards, everything just by watching YouTube videos. I probably spent like 2 or 3 days just watching YouTube videos, and I learned how to completely disassemble and reassemble their PCs. It was an awesome experience. Honestly, if it wasn't content creation as a dream job, which that is my dream, is to be a content creator and entertainer, but I'm really into the tech industry stuff. I love messing with tech. If it wasn't content creation, I'd say my dream job is the one that I had before. Unfortunately, it just was not giving me enough hours and wasn't paying enough. So I had to leave that job. But I absolutely adored that job. I literally came in every day. I built PCs. Well, it wasn't gaming PCs, but I built office PCs and repaired office PCs, and then made sure networks were up and running and all the electronical stuff in the office was running. And that's what I did for a living at the time. I absolutely adored that. That was, I really wish those guys would have gave me more hours and pay, because that was such a dream. I loved it. I loved just working with my passion every day. Just technology is a big passion for me, and I absolutely love it. And I think that's why I'm drawn so much to content creation, because it has so much to do with technology. Whether you want to or not, if you want to be a decent to good content creator, you got to learn about tech. You got to learn about all kinds of stuff, from keyboards to monitors to the computers themselves to consoles. Whatever you're learning, you got to know about it. You got to know the specs. There's all kinds of stuff that you got to learn, and I absolutely adore that stuff. So now we're moving on to my monitors. We got 2 of them here. Got the dual monitor setup going. Now currently my right monitor runs my game consoles and my left monitor runs my computer. Once I have my high-end PC built, I will be running both monitors to the PC itself. The ideal setup would be to have on this side my gaming stuff for my game, and then if I'm recording, I would have my recording things over here running, just so that I can monitor everything that's going on during the recording, make sure everything's running smoothly. The ideal setup for me would be at least a triple monitor setup. A middle monitor would be the gaming monitor. The right monitor would be my recording software, make sure everything's going okay. And then if I'm streaming or something, on the left monitor would be the chat, things like that. If I'm gaming, kind of just chilling, I would have my my game running on the middle monitor. Whatever I need on the right monitor would be there. And then the left monitor would be something like YouTube running in the background. Anything that I'm trying to enjoy, whether I'm trying to play music through YouTube or whatever, I would have it running on a left monitor. So that's kind of the basis of why we would be running multiple monitors. But at this time, I'm not sure that my laptop even supports dual monitor or triple monitor setup. So I only got 1 monitor running on it. Don't want to push it past its limits, really. So game console on the right, PC on the left. That's the way we go about that. These monitors, these are the Asus Tough Gaming 32-inch. Technically they're 31x5, but they're marketed as 32-inch curved monitors. Now there's all kinds of different monitors you can get into, whether you want 1080p, 1440p, or 4K. That is up to you. Now I won't go into tons of detail, but I'll kind of give a rough overview of how monitors work. We'll do this for a few of the things that get more intricate. If you guys want separate videos on exactly how to do builds on things like the keyboards and stuff, exact specifications of things, let me know. I can make separate videos on those, explaining further in depth on things, so they can help you choose stuff when you're doing your gaming setup. I'm happy to make those videos for you. Like I said, I'm a huge techie, so I can get into all that stuff for you. Being a content creator and wanting the best top of the line stuff, I've had to dive in and learn a lot of this stuff for myself. So I do know a lot about this stuff. Bunch of information in my head that I retain. Some of it I write down or take notes on so that I don't forget it, because there's a lot of information. Sometimes you forget stuff and you're like, what was this? So these monitors are the 32-inch Asus Tough Gaming monitors. They are 165 hertz. So basically what hertz is it's going to be your refresh rates. Refresh rates are how many times, I think it is like a second or something like that, how much it's refreshing. Basically for like, if you're just playing a single player game, and you're trying to get a decent experience out of it, the lowest you want to go is 60 FPS. That'll feel fine. You'll run your game smooth. A lot of times now people are jumping up to 120 FPS on stuff like that. I mean, if you got the hardware for it, cool, do that. A lot of consoles are going to average 60 FPS, 120 FPS if they're in performance mode. So as long as you're running 60 FPS while you're playing a single player game, cool, awesome. Here's where things turn. 120 FPS for competitive gaming is now standard. I'm pretty sure all the next gen consoles run at 120 FPS on performance mode. PCs, depending on what hardware you're running, 120 FPS is going to be standard. If you're playing things like Fortnite or any competitive shooter game, 120 FPS is going to be like the bare minimum standard, is what I would call it. 240 FPS is going to be the sweet point. You can go even higher than 240 FPS, but 240 FPS, if you're playing competitive, you're playing things like Cash Cup and all that, these guys are going to be running 240 FPS. You want to make sure that when you're going for a computer build, that you can run 240 FPS or higher if you're looking to be in the competitive scene. It's just the way it is. But yeah, so these monitors are going to be running 165 hertz. So really, I'm a little behind as far as so your FPS is going to match up with your hertz, your refresh rate. You're going to want your frames per second to match up with your refresh rate of your monitors. So I don't know if all games do it. I imagine they do. I know Fortnite actually has a thing in the settings where you can cap the FPS at your FPS limit, which will capping the FPS. You can do unlimited FPS, but that's going to jump up and down. If you cap the FPS, it's not going to try to go over your capped limit. So I have mine capped at like 180, I believe. So I don't think there's an actual 165 cap. So mine won't try to go above 180. I can only get 165 refresh on that. My PC does get up there, so works out for me. But anything above 165, it's not benefiting me at all. You can also run into screen tear issues where it kind of like does little squiggles and stuff. You don't want all those issues, so you want to cap your FPS off. But for monitors, you're going to be looking for 3 different kinds. If you're specifically just looking to get the best performance, the best FPS, which a lot of Fortnite players are, I am in the mix. I like pretty graphics, and I also like high FPS for my performance, for my competitive edge. So for performance competitive edge stuff, you're going to be running at 1080p. If you don't care about graphics, you're just going to run 1080p. You're going to run mid to low tier graphics on purpose during your settings. That way you can get the highest FPS that you want. If you want pretty graphics and you still want high FPS, then you're going to be running what's called 1440p. These monitors are 1440p monitors. That's something you want to look out for when you're choosing your monitors, is 1080p, 1440p, or 4K. The price goes up as you go up with those styles. 1080p is going to be your baseline. It's going to be okay looking. It depends on your monitor size, how it's going to look, whether you're going to be able to notice more pixels or whether it's going to look smooth. For 1080p, I would go with smaller monitors, so anywhere from like the 20 to 24, 27 is kind of pushing it, but 27, I wouldn't go any bigger than that for most 1080p stuff. For 1440p, you got more pixels. You can go anywhere from, I'd say 24 inch. I wouldn't go any bigger than a 32 if you're a competitive gamer. If you're playing single player stuff, you can go higher than a 32 inch, but I wouldn't recommend going any higher than 32 for the best gaming experience on most things. Then there's the 4K, which 4K is where it gets expensive. You need to have the higher end PC parts, and make sure that your PC and your graphics card can run 4K. A lot of the consoles boast that they can run 4K. They're going to run 4K like 60 FPS. If you're running higher FPS, you're going to need to move into the PC realm and make sure that you have the higher end graphics card and things that can run that. 4K is like the high end stuff. When you go to buy 4K monitors that are good, reputable monitors, that's going to cost you a pretty penny. The monitors that I'm running, I think for both of them, cost me like $700. After protection plans and all that, it was like $750, $800 for 2 monitors, so it's really not bad. 1440p 32-inch curved monitors. You can go with curve if you like the immersion. Any otherwise, you can go with just a straight flat monitor. Either or, that's really up to preference. But 1080p, 1440p, 4K. 4K is going to be for like the beautiful resolution. The game's going to look immaculate. Here's the thing with gaming though. If you're a competitive gamer, 1440p is kind of the sweet spot. If you like competitive gaming and you like to have decent quality graphics as well. It's going to look clean on 1440p, and you're still going to be able to push those high graphical, the higher end graphical settings, I should say, but it's not going to be 4K. 4K is for when you're trying to immerse into a game, really enjoy the graphics and just look at a pretty game. With gaming, there's things that you have to weigh out. With all of this, there's things that you have to weigh out. When it comes to 4K, unless you're running like high-end graphics cards, you're not going to be pushing 240 FPS with 4K gaming. It's just not something that's going to happen. So you really have to choose. Am I being a competitive gamer and I want to get the competitive edge with high FPS? Then you're going to want to go 1080p or 1440p. If you are wanting to enjoy the graphics and everything, and still have like 60 FPS to 120 FPS. You can go for 4K. You are gonna have to run higher end parts in your PC or whatever you're going for. I think the newer consoles boast 4K, even possibly 8K, I think. If you're wanting to go for that, you're going to be averaging on console like 60 FPS. That's just the way it's going to happen. You're not going to get high FPS. So for the 4K stuff, if you're a single player, if you're playing single player games a lot and that's what you like to do and just enjoy the graphics, then I could definitely recommend going for 4K monitors to pair with either your consoles or your PC. But if you're a competitive player and you're on a budget or a mid-tier budget, I would recommend 1440p. That's kind of the sweet spot. You can get bang for your buck there. You aren't going to be spending buku amounts. When I say buku amounts, I tell you guys, I got these monitors for about $750, $800 for 2 monitors, and that's 1440p. If you're looking for a high-end 4K monitor, you're looking at about $800 to $1,000 per monitor. It gets expensive. So kind of weigh out what you want and just choose what you want from there. But yeah, so that's monitors. So now we're going to get into keyboards and mice, the ones that I've used and I'd recommend. So we have a more high-end keyboard and mouse setup here, and then kind of more budget-friendly keyboard and mouse setup. I'll go over a few things with that. I'll try not to be, too in-depth with it, but I'll try to explain things so it makes sense if you're wondering what you should go with, and depending on your budget, kind of try to explain things, because I did not know that keyboards got so intricate. So this might be a little bit longer of a segment, as I'm going to try to explain things relatively quickly, but still explain it so that you understand what you're looking at and what you want to go with, what route you want to go with in regards to your keyboards and your mice. Okay, so our more high-end keyboard and mouse setup here that we use, this is the one that I currently run. I have custom keycaps on it. It normally comes in black. Keycaps are, if you don't know, they're these here. They're the cap that goes onto the switch itself, or the board. So a switch is these things here. And that's what sends a message to the actual PCB or the board inside of the keyboard itself and tells you which key you're pressing, yada yada. So there's all kinds of different switches, which I'll show the other keyboard here. These have yellow switches on them. All kinds of different switches. Switches are going to make the difference in the sound of the keyboard. See, that other keyboard's a little louder, different switches. They're going to make a difference in the sound. There's other factors that play into that as well. Again, if you want a full keyboard video explaining everything about keyboards, I can do that for you. Let me know in the comment section down below. So for this keyboard here, we're looking at the SteelSeries Apex Pro Mini. It's called the Mini because it is a 60% keyboard, so not a full-sized keyboard. It's the smallest out of the few. So you have different keyboards. You got the full-size keyboards, the 100%. I believe there's a 10 keyless, which is normally called the TKL. It misses a few keys. I'll put a photo of that up. So that's a 10 keyless. I don't know if that classifies as the 75%. I don't think so. I think they're different. There's a 75% keyboard, 65% keyboard, and a 60% or the Mini. This is a 60% keyboard. So depending on how many keys you want and how many keys you need, you can kind of choose your keyboard based off of that. That's the first step for keyboard choosings. Then you have your switches. These are a very important part. Also do want to mention switches. These do not come in a regular standard office keyboard. An office keyboard is going to be something called a membrane keyboard. I'll put up some photos of that right now. Membrane keyboards, you cannot switch out the switches on them at all. Everything is soldered in already. It is what it is. You get what you get. They're kind of more of a mushy feel as you're clicking on the keys themselves. They're slower response times. It's more for, typing, just a general office keyboard. Gaming keyboards, you want to make sure first off you have a mechanical keyboard. Mechanical means that you have switches here. There's different kinds of switches. There's switches for typing, that are louder if you like kind of that loud clacky sound. Then there's gaming switches, which are like these ones here. These are also gaming switches, different kinds. You have faster ones. So for this keyboard here, you're gonna have yellow switches or red switches are gonna be your fastest ones that you wanna look into. The fast switches are just for your inputs. So as you're pressing down and then releasing, they're gonna press down quicker. There's gonna be less resistance in them. They're normally gonna be a little bit quieter as well, as opposed to ones that are made more for typing, that are loud, clicky ones. All kinds of different switches. We'll get into that in a different video for keyboards. These switches on the Apex Pro Mini are their OmniPoint 2.0 adjustable hypermagnetic switches. These are in competition with Wooting. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as of right now, this keyboard is the fastest keyboard on the market. So things like Fortnite, you're gonna want a keyboard that's quick. Again, it comes down to what you're comfortable with. So the keyboard, it does make minute differences, but we're talking milliseconds. I just like having the best top of the line stuff in my arsenal. So I'm using the Apex Pro Mini, which has the fastest switches on the market. What else it has is rapid trigger and quick release, things like that. So you do a full depression of a key. So right here would be an activation. On a normal keyboard, pushing all the way down, then you have to wait for it to activate. And then you would have to come all the way back up with the key. With mine, the minute I put pressure on the key, so the minute I do that and the key depresses at all, it registers right away. And then once I let up, literally the minute I let back up, so literally see how minute that you can barely see it on camera. That right there. So let me see. That was about six key presses. On a keyboard like this one, it doesn't have that. It does have quicker response time. And that's just based off the actual hardware itself. These switches, they are quicker gaming switches, yellow ones. So it pushes down quicker. There's less resistance than other switches. So you can still get that fast timing, but it's not going to be as fast as these. With this one here, you have to press all the way down and bring it all the way back up. So here we're on the Apex Pro Mini, and here is me just spamming the G key. I am barely putting pressure on this. That's how much I'm depressing. You can adjust the actuation, is what it's called, for how hard you have to press down on the key, and then how much you have to release upwards before it re-registers the next key press. I'll go ahead and try to do an example with the other keyboard and show you the difference. So now we are on the other keyboard, and we're going to show you the difference here. Here how I'm having to click it all the way down. Very minute, but as you see here now with my finger, I'm having to click this further down and release it further up than with the other keyboard. For this keyboard, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly keyboard, because the Apex Pro Mini is going to be more expensive. I think the Mini is like 150, 170. So it's a more expensive keyboard. If you're looking for a more budget-friendly keyboard, that is still a decent keyboard. You go with something like this. This is the HK Gaming GK61. So this is also a 60% keyboard. I have custom keycaps on it again, just for aesthetically pleasing purposes. When you get these, I'll try to be short about this again. You want to get the gaming switches. These run, you want to make sure also, because there's two different kinds that it comes with, make sure that you get the Gateron optical switches. Also, when you go for keyboards, try to make sure you get one that has hot swappable, what do you call it? Hot swappable switches, meaning that you can actually pull each of these switches out and swap the switches. So if you don't like the current switches that you're running, you can pull those, buy new switches online, put the new ones in to the PCB. But basically for this, it was kind of a toss-up between the two. Again, working with milliseconds, but from what I read for this keyboard, the fastest switches they have are these yellow ones. There's also red ones as well, Gateron red optical switches. They're also fast, but for this specific keyboard, you're going to be looking for either yellow or red switches. Most keyboards are going to be either red or silver switches. The silver switches on this one are pretty fast as well, but the red and yellow are the fastest. Most keyboards though, you're either looking for, a lot of them run what's called Cherry MX. You'd be looking for either Cherry MX silver or red switches. It's just going to give you the fastest response time. Basically what that is how hard you have to push down and the time that it takes to come back up from each key press. Other switches are going to be harder spring. They're going to have heavier springs, which is going to make it a harder push. I like to be able to basically twitch my fingers and just have those keys come down, just so I have the quickest response times. And if I'm building, doing whatever I'm doing in Fortnite, I just got the quickest responses. I like that. So yeah, for budget-friendly keyboard, this one runs about, after tax and everything, protection plans, all that, runs about $50–$60 with the protection plans and everything. The base price of this is about a $40 keyboard, and it's a pretty decent keyboard. I would highly recommend it. It's what I used when I first started keyboard and mouse. I absolutely love this keyboard. So for the mouse, I am using, for the high-end one, a Logitech G Pro Superlight, or is it what? Logitech G Pro X Superlight 2. This is a wireless gaming mouse. I won't get into all the specs and all that, but we can do that in a separate video. We can do like a keyboard and mouse video if you like. But yeah, this mouse has very quick response time. It has a upgraded sensor compared to a normal mouse. So basically, like if you do the slightest little twitch, it's going to register that instantly and fly it across the screen. Well, not fly it, but it'll register that instantly. If you do like a hard flick like that, it's going to fly the mouse across it. That it will do. It'll fly it across the screen. Got nice skates. Skates are these here. Got decent skates. A lot of people complain about the skates. I haven't had any complaints or issues with the skates. It zooms around this, and this isn't even a high-end mouse pad that I'm using. It zooms around there. Absolutely love this thing for gaming. When you're choosing a gaming mouse, make sure you at least have two little shoulder buttons, I guess you would call it. Two little buttons on the side. It's going to be used for different scenarios while you're gaming. In Fortnite, I use these for two of my build buttons. And then here we have, there's different switches. Again, switches like in the keyboards, but in the actual mouse itself, there's different switches that are used on different mouse, different mice. Then you got your scroll wheel here. My only complaint would be with the scroll wheel itself. I like a little bit ever so slightly stiffer. Like this one is sort of stiff, but it's a little loose compared to other mice that I've used. I like a slightly stiffer one that tells me each time that I'm hitting a scroll. But I mean, still works pretty nice. Decent scroll wheel. But that would be my only complaint with this mouse, is the scroll wheel itself. This mouse is really nice. It's super sensitive. You can change all the settings through the Logitech app on your PC. It's a super nice mouse. I absolutely adore this mouse. It does everything that I need it to do and more. So for this mouse, depending on sales and things where you can find it, if you're looking for it brand new, you're looking anywhere from between $120 to $160 for this mouse here. So it can get kind of expensive. A lot of that is with the fact that it is wireless. Wireless mice are going to be more expensive. Now this kind of has the egg shape to it, so I think that can help with like palm grippers. So there's different kinds of grips that people use. There's like the claw grip that people use. There's the palm grip. When I grip the mouse, I'm kind of a mix of the palm grip and the claw grip itself, because I kind of grip upwards with my two fingers here, but I also grip a lot of the bottom of the mouse with my palm. So mice, it's going to come down to just kind of your grip style. You're going to want to find one that you're comfortable with grip style wise. Just go to the store, something like Best Buy. They have mice on display. You can hold the mice, see which one feels good in your hand with your grip style. And then what I did is just kind of researched which mice were used, by the pros, which ones were highly recommended for high-end mice. That's what I would do. You can also look into more budget-friendly mice and see what people would use for or recommend for budget-friendly mice. For a more budget-friendly mouse, this is what I use. It was what I used when I first started mouse and keyboard. I really liked this mouse a lot. It's super comfortable in the hand. It's also ambidextrous, so you got shoulder buttons on this side and on this side. This one has a more stiff scroll wheel that I like. You can tell each click that you're doing with that scroll there. Absolutely adored this thing. This thing is oof. If I could get the scroll wheel of this one into that Logitech, it'd be the perfect mouse for me. But this one here, this is a pretty budget-friendly mouse. Pricing you're looking at this one's about $50. Not too bad, very decent mouse. I absolutely enjoyed this mouse. There's a DPI sensor on the back here, a little button you can press. DPI, in layman's terms, is basically gonna be how fast your mouse moves across the screen. So you press this button, it's got like 3 or 4 settings. It's got the slow setting, the medium, then the super high settings. That's something you would mess with a lot while you're gaming, especially with FPS and things like that. But this is a super budget-friendly mouse. As far as mice go, it's a pretty sturdy mouse. It's got the little buttons here that you would use when I was playing Fortnite. These buttons I actually liked. I'd probably say a little bit more than the buttons. That'd be another complaint. These ones don't bother me. A lot of people complain a lot about the side buttons on the Logitech mouse. They don't bother me. I like them. I do like these ones a little bit more just because they're a little bit bigger, a little bit easier for my thumb to kind of roll onto, but I've gotten used to that one. I still love the side buttons on that one as well. They don't bug me as much. People were saying they were kind of mushy and stuff. I haven't really felt that. It hasn't bugged me a ton, but yeah, if I could get the side buttons and the scroll wheel onto that mouse, it'd be the absolute perfect mouse. But yeah, the Razer Viper Ultralight is a budget-friendly mouse that I would recommend along with the HK Gaming GK61 keyboard. So if you're looking for more budget-friendly, I would go with the Razer Viper Ultralight and the HK Gaming GK61 60% keyboard.
Now I know what some of y'all are thinking. Pinky, I don't even play mouse and keyboard. I play on console and I use a controller. Or I play on PC and I use a controller. What controllers would you recommend for me? I got you covered there too.
So this is going to be kind of a quick overview of the controllers. If you want budget friendly, just use the standard controller. Use a controller that comes with your console. It works fine. If you're wanting to get more competitive and you want a nicer controller, here's what I would recommend for Xbox. The Elite Series 2. Make sure you get the Series 2, not the Series 1. The Series 2 was upgraded a lot more, took care of a lot of the issues from the Series 1. When I was using controller, it's got 4 back paddles on it. You can map those. Basically, what I would do is map them to these 4 face buttons. That way, when I was gaming, holding the controller, playing things like Call of Duty, if I needed to slide, if I needed to change my weapon, all of those buttons are these face buttons, and I would have to move my thumb off of the thumbstick. If I'm in an engagement and fighting somebody, I want to be able to still aim while sliding, while reloading, while jumping. I could do all of that. I could take these face buttons and put them on these back paddles, which is why I like having 4 back paddles, which is something that's kind of an issue with the PlayStation controllers. We'll get into that here in a second. You can change out the D-pad on this. They got all the little options here. You can change all of that out. It's magnetic. Same thing with the thumbsticks. Take those off. But yeah, you can change out thumbsticks, any heights. I have a shorter thumbstick on the left. That is my movement thumbstick. On the right thumbstick, I have a slightly taller one. If I can get that back on. I have a slightly taller one. It actually kind of gives you leverage. Because if you see here, this one moves pretty quickly, and there's less range of motion, which that's fine for walking. Now this is your aiming thumbstick, and so I like to have more of a range of motion, because it gives me slightly more control over what I'm trying to control. Recoil of a gun, when I'm aiming around, it gives me a little bit, I feel like I have a little bit more control of how precisely I'm doing. It's almost like having a mouse where you're looking and you're slightly moving the mouse, you're slightly moving the analog, and it gives you a little bit more control when you have that longer analog stick. So that's why I use the taller one on the right stick. This is a standard PS5 controller.
This one's in pink, of course. The DualSense Edge would have a couple of different features, and I'll put a photo of one up on the screen. So a couple of different features that it's going to have. It's going to have removable analogs, so if there's any stick drift or anything, which that's a nice feature, I like that a lot. Removable analogs, if there's any stick drift that occurs or anything, you can just take the whole analog out, and you go on their website and buy a new analog and replace the analog. Thing about the DualSense Edge is on the back of the controller, there's only going to be 2 paddles. That's an issue for me. For me, I like to have all of the face buttons on back paddles. What I could recommend in regards to that, and this is a iffy recommendation. I've never used a SCUF controller, so I don't know how reliable they are, how long they last, things like that, if they're really bang for the buck. But if budget's not an issue, and you're looking for a more competitive controller, I have seen a lot of YouTubers use the SCUF controllers. So going out on a wing here, what I would recommend, if you want 4 paddles on the back, go ahead and go over to SCUF. Get yourself a SCUF controller that has 4 paddles on the back. If you can do with 2 paddles, then I'd recommend the DualSense Edge, especially because you can remove the analogs if there's any stick drift or anything. But if you're like me, need 4 paddles, I would go with the SCUF controller for PS5. Unfortunately, they don't have a 4 paddle variant like the Elite Series 2 on Xbox. But yeah, I would either recommend, if you're looking for the budget-friendly option, just use the controller that comes with the with the console. You can get pretty good on just a regular controller. If you want to upgrade and you got the budget for it, I think these ones run like, I think they're only like 150 now. I think they've dropped. When I first started getting these, they were like almost $300, which is insane. But now they got different colors and everything. You get it for like $150, $200. You get yourself a Pro controller. I would definitely recommend, if you're getting into the competitive scene of gaming, to go with a Pro controller. Okay, so now we're gonna go over headsets. The headset that I currently use is the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless. They come in black and white. When I first got this, it was only the black variant. I really want the white variant, so maybe we'll get our hands on that at some point. You can also remove these side plates here. So removable side plates, and then the little ski band here is also removable. You can go on their website and get different colors. They do have a pink one. I want to get those, but I haven't got those yet. I've been budgeting for other things. It has a retractable mic as well. It's got a mic that comes out, then it retracts back in. I just have it pushed in because now that I play on PC, I use a separate microphone from the headset, but it's a decent microphone. Everybody, when I was playing on console, said they could hear me just fine. It was pretty clear. So they were okay with that. My microphone that I use is much better, obviously, than a headset quality microphone that you're going to use. But yeah, now this is also my little headset stand. Normally it's off on the right side, but it's a cheap plastic pink headset stand. Pretty light, cheap, but it does its job. You don't need anything fancy for a headset stand. But yeah, I got it because it was pink. Got it off of Amazon. But with this headset, it is a wireless gaming headset, so you are going to be paying about $100 more than the wired version. From what I've heard, they work the same, just one is wireless, one is wired. I prefer having a wireless headset. I just like to have that free range of motion. But if you're looking for a little bit cheaper but still good sound quality, you can get the wired version of this for a bit cheaper, still a little bit higher in the price range. It's going to be a high-end headset that we're looking at here. You get an audio mixer. Let me see if I can pull up the settings here. Yeah, here we go. So it's got the USB input, audio options, line in, out, line out, system settings, things like that. We can go to the audio options, go to the equalizer, go to the gain, different options of volume. Equalizer, it's gonna have different settings that you go with. It's got all kinds of different settings that you can go through for the equalizer. It's got a little back button here, so we can go back out of all that to the main screen. With the equalizer, you can go in there though. You can change your settings. It has preset settings for things like Call of Duty, for things like Fortnite. If you're on console, you would use this mixer here and go to whichever preferred setting. I will say, from when I played console with it, going to the specific setting for that specific game, it had nice equalizers on it. I do like the preset equalizers that it had, whether I was playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, anything like that. It was pretty good, pretty well set to that game, so that you get your footsteps or whatever you're trying to listen to. Now, if you're on PC, there is actually a a engine that you can go into. Let me see if I can get that pulled up for you. So if you're on PC, you can actually fully customize the audio settings. You can adjust the mic volume, you can adjust, the output of stuff, what you're hearing, your main audio, your mic, your aux inputs, if you put in the aux cord itself. And then the equalizer, you can adjust literally everything on the equalizer and do different settings. That's something that I like. That's another reason that I switched over to PC is things like my keyboard, my headset, which these are both Steel Series, the headset and the keyboard. So you see off here on the left, I haven't done this update yet because I've heard some horror stories about that update. So I'm waiting for them to come out with another update so I don't have to deal with those horror stories. But yeah, it'll literally tell you when updates are needed for stuff. And then you can mess with the headset settings. You can go to the keyboard, mess with all the keyboard settings, all that. Absolutely love that about PC. That's another reason that I switched over. Everything is optimized on the PC as opposed to console. You can just get more in depth with things. I will say too, this headset does sound really good on the console. Now you got to make sure that you get either the Xbox or the PlayStation variant. If you're playing on console, there's two different variants. So if you're strictly playing PC, I don't think it matters. Just make sure you read the description. It says Xbox and PC or PlayStation and PC, but I don't think it matters if you have the Xbox or the PlayStation variant. Should work on your PC regardless. But it sounds great on console. When I hooked it up to my PC, I was not prepared. I didn't know the headset could sound even better than it does. It sounds absolutely immaculate on PC. It is, I mean, if you really want the best gaming experience, please do yourself a favor, get into PC gaming. I mean, you can start out small. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than console, but are we really talking a little bit more expensive? The new PS5 Pro just dropped. $700 for that. $700, you can build a decent gaming PC. It's going to run everything you want to run. It's going to run at low graphical settings, but it's still going to perform just as well, if not a little bit better than the PlayStation 5. When I say that, I mean that this PC here is dated. This is like 2019 PC, I believe. I could definitely use more RAM, things like that. If we were going for the absolute optimized settings for things, but still, this PC dated 2019, I think it still outperforms my PS5 and my Xbox Series X. I'm talking best you're getting FPS is 120 on these consoles here. You're getting about 120 FPS. This thing averages about 150 to 170 FPS. This here for a high-end headset, the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro Wireless. I would highly recommend this. If you're looking for a more budget-friendly headset, we'll go over that. So I know that there's new generations. Of this out. I don't know how well those ones perform. I haven't used them yet. This is the Turtle Beach Stealth 600. This was a very good headset. When I used this was a very good headset at the time. I think this is like the Gen 2 headset. Now they have like leather ear cups. They look a little bit different. I haven't used the new generation one, so I don't know how they perform, but I'm pretty sure this is the Gen 2 models. They had a Gen 1 model as well. This one performed great for what you were paying. I think this was like $150, $150 for this headset. It was a Stealth 600 wireless gaming headset. So for a cheaper wireless gaming headset, this was my go-to before I started using professional grade headsets. Then for my microphone, we are running a Blue Yeti X. There's the regular Blue Yeti. I've heard mixed reviews about the regular Blue Yeti. From my personal use, I cannot tell you about the regular Blue Yeti. I've never used it, so I don't know how good it is or any of the software issues that it might have. This here, though, I absolutely love this microphone. I really wish it came in pink. The regular Blue Yeti comes in pink, but this one doesn't. This is the with outgoing XLR, and again, I can make a whole video on microphones if you'd like me to do that. We won't get too in-depth on that, but with a USB mic, which means that you just plug it into the microphone, run it to your PC, and plug it into the USB port. This is literally the top of the line microphone with outgoing XLR. Now, as you see, these are moving here because it's picking up my voice now that I've turned it off of mute. It will actually show you. So there's the regular gain is turned up to about here, so about halfway. and then it shows you how loud your voice is going. I normally try to keep it into the yellow to get it to come through nicely over the game volume. I have the gain turned up a little bit, so sometimes it quote unquote clips, which means that you're being too loud. But I like to have it regardless, kind of up in this upper yellow area. That means it's picking up my voice nicely at a far distance here. I don't know if you can see me in the microphone. Don't know if you can see me and the microphone, but when I'm sitting, I'm about a foot and a half away from the microphone, and it still picks my voice up nicely. So that's what I like about that. I'm using the Blue Yeti X microphone, and then it is hooked up to the Blue Compass microphone boom stand. This is a kind of like overhead stand, I guess you would call it. Works out nicely. Now, when you're using multiple monitors, I personally would recommend one that is either low profile, meaning that it would come out from the bottom here and bring the microphone up to your face, or one, they have some that kind of has this arm here. I don't know, maybe I could do some kind of adjustment with this arm so that it comes kind of at an upward swoop. I don't think this microphone can do that though. I think this is more of an overhead style one. So that's something I'm looking to change in the future, is to get a low profile one. Elgato makes a nice low profile mic, but I absolutely love this microphone. It has been tried and true. Everybody that listens to me on this microphone loves this. They say that I sound like I'm standing right next to them talking. Hearing my own voice recordings, I do think that it sounds like I'm right there. It's probably the most accurate that you'll hear my voice. As far as like phone microphones, headset microphones, so this thing here, as far as being next to me and hearing what I actually sound like in person, this microphone is probably the closest thing to what I sound like in person. I absolutely adore this microphone. This microphone is a little expensive. I'm gonna be honest, I bought this right out the gate when I started YouTube, so I don't know what the budget-friendly microphones are gonna be. This microphone here, I believe, runs about $170, $180, somewhere around there, $170, $180 for the microphone. Then you're looking at about $100 more for the boom arm. So you might just start out with the microphone and its little desk stand. The last big thing that I will mention is two things here. So that bright light that you see right there is my Elgato key lights. I use two Elgato key lights. They're very bright. You can adjust the brightness on them to make them even brighter. I think this is only like 20 or 30% right now. They're still super bright. They light up my entire room. The other thing here is my webcam. There's my webcam here, which I use for my face cam. That is the Logitech Brio 4K. You want to make sure that you're getting the Brio 4K, because there's different Logitech webcams out there. But yeah, that's the webcam that I use, is the 4K one. It has the ability to catch up to 4K video for my face cam. So that's what I use when you guys see my face on my gaming videos, is this Logitech Brio 4K. This is more a high-end webcam, so it's going to be a bit more expensive. Again, I don't really have any low-end recommendations, since I haven't used the low-end. I just went straight into this and got the high-end webcam. So sorry, I don't have any low-end or budget recommendations on a webcam. But definitely, if you're looking for budget stuff, just do your research, see what people would recommend for webcams, what they would start. If you want more of an in-depth webcam review video, I can do that, and we'll do research on those webcams, and I'll let you know about budget ones, mid-tier ones, and then high-end ones like this one here. This is going to be a high-end webcam. The only other thing I would say that I left out is going to be my tripod. It's just a pretty basic tripod. I think it was like $50 from Best Buy. Pretty basic tripod, but it's got these here. These fold out, and then you can bend them to your liking, or if you even want to like wrap them onto a desk or a pole or something, they wrap around stuff. And you got this knob here, and this, you loosen that so that you can move this around. And once you have it positioned the way you want it, you screw that back in. It'll hold this tightly in place, and this is just to put your phone in there. There's another attachment that you can unscrew this top piece here and then screw another attachment on if you're using an actual camera. So all around, it's a pretty good little tripod. I absolutely love this tripod. I was gifted this for my birthday by my mother and my stepfather, so I appreciate that greatly. You don't need anything super fancy for a tripod. You can get fancier tripods if you want to, but this thing, like I said, about $50, and it does the job just fine. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a little bit different. Sorry if it comes out a little rough. Like I said, it's my first time doing a video like this, showing my setup and everything that I use. If there was anything that I missed, or if you guys have any questions on something, one of the pieces of equipment that I use, or any recommendation questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for your continued love and support, for continuing to share the channel information, for leaving comments in the comment section down below, things you're enjoying, things you want to see more of, and things you haven't quite seen yet. Thank you guys for leaving likes on the videos, everything you do to support the channel. I really do appreciate it. We're constantly growing. We normally grow a few subscribers each video. I really appreciate you guys so much. Again, if there's anything that I left out that you may have seen in prior videos through my webcam, or when I'm doing these intros, if there's anything that I left out or that you have questions about, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm happy to answer those. I will gladly answer that. If you have any questions about something that I might recommend as far as equipment goes, or if you're trying to build a PC or anything like that, you want to know about specifications, like I said, I have tons of knowledge up in here on that. As a content creator, I have to know about a lot of that stuff, so I am constantly researching a lot of that stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and to the best of my ability, I will answer those questions. Until next time, I'm Pinky Dayton, and I'm out of here.